So here are three different types of assets that create net worth. Currency, right? So I can have money. Well, a lot of people have money, like a lot of money, hundreds of thousands, some even millions of dollars, but they're still cash flow poor because they have all of their money tied up in tax-deferred retirement plans. Retirement is not a, in my opinion, for me, I'll say it that way, for me, retirement is not a good idea. Because a lot of people, soon after they retire, they expire, and I have no desire to expire, so I have no desire to retire. I only have a desire to aspire higher. Okay. And be a poet and know it. Okay, I'm done. So, currency, if you got all your money tied up in and it's amazing. People have all their money tied up in a retirement account, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. They got all their money tied up in a retirement account, and they pass on opportunities to invest in things that can give them cash flow because they're afraid of the tax penalty, which is less than the amount opportunity cost of not investing in the asset. Well, I'll tell you what my strategy is in a minute. How I actually do my thing so that I don't have money stress. Well, Myron, if I had your money, I wouldn't have money stress either. No, if you had my lack of money stress, you'd have the money I have. Don't get it twisted. The lack of money stress came before the money. The money did not create the lack of money stress. The lack of money stress created the money. And there are people who have lots of money, and there are people who have more money than me, and they still have money stress. Why? Because that's one of the things they allow themselves to stress out over. I don't allow myself to stress out over money. It's just money. Okay, I hope you are tracking. So currency, that's one, currency, cash and crypto, right? They don't want to cash in their crypto because what if I cash it in and then it goes up, then I lost that opportunity. So that as an acquired asset, it doesn't really help me, except it lets me know that, well, I've got something somewhere in case something happens, right? Okay, so currency. Real estate is another one, okay? Stocks are another one. But none of those things are liquid unless you figure out a way. Now, if you own real estate and you own the property free and clear and somebody's paying you rent and it gives you cash flow, you have the net worth and you have the cash flow from that asset. But better than that, to me, is like a lot of people want to become debt free. I believe the reason you want to be debt free is because there's a level of financial illiteracy that you're experiencing that you don't understand how money works. Because eventually I will be debt free, I'm sure, but I have no intention, being debt free is not an objective, it'll just be the natural outcome of the wealth that I create as I create it. But debt can be extremely profitable. And I know that's not what Dave Ramsey says, and I love Dave Ramsey, God bless him, but debt free is still zero. And I have no desire to get to zero. And when I get ready to buy something that I can pay cash for, I almost never pay cash for it. I almost always finance it, even though I can afford to write a check for it. Why would I do that? Because if I pay cash for it, one, it gives me a tax write-off. Why does it give me a tax write-off? Because I get a tax write-off on the interest. That's one. Another reason I'd rather borrow the money is because the bank will loan me their money cheaper than I can use my own money. So if the bank is going to loan me money at 4%, and I use my money, it costs me 18%. If I use my money just so I can be debt-free, it costs me 14% net loss because I used my money instead of the bank's money. This is why rich people borrow money. Another reason is if I go and buy a piece of property, if I go buy an apartment building, I go buy a house, I go buy an investment property, and I buy that, and I pay cash for it, I don't get the depreciation and the cost segregation and the tax stuff that I get from paying for that property with borrowed money. I borrow the money, and then I usually let the asset pay off itself, right? But if the asset doesn't pay off itself, I would rather me pay the payment on the asset than lose the benefits of the borrowed money. So watch this. If I buy a house and I get a deal on it, and the house is worth $500,000, but I get it for $300,000, I should be able to borrow up to 80% of that $200,000, which is $160,000, and I can spend that $160,000 any way I want to, and I have zero tax consequence on the borrowed money. Okay, this is not even about that, but I'm just saying we have to learn to think differently. We have to figure out how rich people think about money. If I've got $100,000, let's say I've got $500,000 sitting in the bank, I would be better off going and buying a whole life for $500,000 insurance policy, they're going to pay me interest on the $500,000. $500,000 bank is not going to do, right? Plus, if I die, my family's going to get the $500,000 tax-free. But if I die and the money's in the bank, the government's going to get half of it. Are y'all tracking? But after that money's been in there for a year, I can go borrow that. First of all, when I buy the $500,000 life insurance policy, I don't have to pay tax on that $500,000. Then I can borrow the cash value out of that $500,000. Let's say I want to go borrow $200,000 out of it to live off of next year, right? I don't have to pay tax on that $200,000 that I borrowed from my life insurance policy that I paid cash for, that I didn't pay tax on the $500,000 I paid. So now it's bigger than just the money that comes in and the money that goes out. Okay, so there's acquired assets. Acquired assets create net worth. Net worth is potential wealth. Then there's active assets. Active assets create cash flow. That's productivity wealth. So potential wealth is net worth. Productivity wealth is active assets. What's an active asset? So this book right here, this is an active asset. I wrote this book one time. Every month, this book pays me money. How much money? I don't know, $18,000 to $30,000. I wrote the book one time. The book pays me $18,000. This one pays me $8,000 to $12,000. Right? Those are, and it's not even the books that pay me, it's the funnels that sell the books that pay me. Right? So active assets are funnels, like a marketing funnel. We do a challenge once a month. So the Make More Offers Challenge, right? That funnel has brought in, since May 24th, that funnel has brought in so far $96,000.